untuk Palestin punya isu sama ada the Western or the US. China of course dia tak berminat sangat. Dia kata mungkin dia tahu sebab Islam di Malaysia ni adalah lebih inklusif, lebih aman. So dia kata dia memang expect daripada Malaysia boleh bawa something, and dia satu benda lagi yang dia kata dia expect mungkin dekat Palestin tu mereka pun tak bersatu. Ada masalah masing-masing dengan Palestin tu. Dia mengharapkan orang muda macam Afaf ni dia menolong jadi Palestin itu bersatu. Ada satu single voice untuk dia fight for whatever that it needs. Sekarang dia agak susah untuk nak berdiscuss, berdialog pasal masing-masing ada agenda masing-masing yang agak susah. So Palestin pun kena bersatu. Sorry? Okay, that's okay, ni I bagi pula pada kita punya Mr. Jason Leong. Mungkin I ada dengar pasal nak buat kedai satu Malaysia di, mungkin dia banyak lagi idea di Chinese about trade and economy, which is very interesting. Yeah, over to you Jason.
Yeah, actually itu merupakan satu cadangan atau proposal yang kita pernah buat bila tahun 2018. Proposal pun disubmit dan kemukakan kepada masa itu PM Tun Dr. Mahathir. Kita buat satu forum kat Perdana Global Center. So the idea behind this proposal is set up a no shackle shop, because currently politics must also be related to economy. It's inevitable, because whoever has the economic power will also have some political power. Jadi sepanjang masa ini Israel try to control the Palestinian economy, because the Palestinian economy I think lebih kurang in terms of the actual economy is as big about US 7 billion a year, you know, so which is about 25 billion shekels, Israeli shekels. But today in Palestine, mainly the currency that is being used, the biggest, most popular currency is shekel. US dollars, yes, then Johannan dinar. US dollar ada masalah kerana US dollar yang biasa dalam circulation di Palestine, in denomination is 100 US dollars. It is too big, you know, and then people, macam mana you nak beli roti with 100 US dollars and then you expect a change very hard. So the thing is that in 2019, I observed then bila Perdana Menteri baru Palestin, iaitu dari Hamas, PM PM Muhammad Shataya, when he took office, he made a statement that we want to reduce reliance and dependence on the Israeli shekels. So the key was that, you know, some of the activists were saying, why should we accept and look at the currency of this dictator and oppressors with the images of the leaders every day? These are the people who make our life miserable. These are the people that create cruelty and shed innocent blood. And yet you look at the shekel every day and use it. So the idea is, kalau kita boleh start satu, it's like an act of civil disobedience. Set up a no shekel shop dengan signboard yang besar-besar. The name of the shop, kedai no shekel shop. Ada kedai satu Malaysia, no shekel shop. I mean only one rule. Dalam kedai ini kita jual dan beli barang, semua boleh digunakan except we don't accept shekel. You want shekel, you go somewhere else, you know. So your money is no good. Your shekel is no good. So that means we reject the currency of the dictator and the oppressors. Now, such a shop is going to make losses, likely, because you are not going to be very popular, because you know, not many people will come to your shop. But it doesn't matter. It is a symbolic protest. And I was saying, actually, basically, the proposal to Tun at that time was that say that Malaysia should sponsor. You know, we will start up just put in, 5 million ringgit or 1 million US, and then open up one shop or two shops selling very simple goods. The whole idea is that even we make laws doesn't matter, and to send that message to encourage. Once Malaysia start two shops, we can also challenge all the other nations around. Jordan pun boleh start dua shop, Egypt pun boleh finance dua shop, Saudi Arabia boleh finance 10 shop, Iran boleh finance 2. So macam ni, so it will set up. So everybody put the money there, and then we are not talking about profit. We just want to protest. Every day we will remind the Palestinians we don't want to use the currency of the oppressor. So if we can take this lead, I mean, it's still not too late. I mean, we have raised money for aid for Palestine. So maybe as a pilot project, so like I was telling Fairuz, so maybe this cadangan should be kemukakan dan bentangkan kepada PAS or those people behind Palestinian aid for Palestine. Because you see, the situation in Palestine today in terms of accumulation, there's an over-accumulation of shekels in the Palestinian banks. So Palestinian bank, they collect shekels, tapi apa guna tu? So benarnya apa yang central bank or not the central bank, the private banks in Palestine collect those shekels. They are supposed to actually pass it over to the Israeli banks and place the deposit there and generate interest. Tetapi Israeli banks are saying that, we don't want to accept your deposit. So biarkanlah your deposit is stuck in your own bank. Can you imagine? That means you're putting all the deposit in the bank, but they got nowhere to do, nothing to do, cannot generate interest. And that amount is about 4 billion shekels a year, which is about US 1.2 billion US dollars. And that is not making any money for the Palestinian banks. So the Israeli banks they are very smart bankers. So they are actually, again, oppressing the Palestinian banks in terms of that. So maybe this is the time, for the first time that we do this. I mean, we heard like people like Ustaz Nadir, who is in Gaza. He says that Gaza has got a actually fairly vibrant economy, except that the economy is that is a double standard. So the Israeli government or the Israeli people, businessmen, will take all the bad, lousy, perishable, horrible, poor, second class, third class quality goods, semua masuk Gaza, and they sell to Gaza, sell to the Palestinians, and they make money for the Palestinians. Right? So they are, in a way, there is another economic oppression. So the Gaza itself is actually in vibrant. So maybe, we already have a guy there, so, let Ustaz Nadir become the CEO of the first no-shekel shop in Gaza, and then subsequently we set up in Ramallah and everywhere else. That will be a very open, clear, symbolic protest. So that is one thing. And I think all of us here are men of faith, religious people. I think one thing I just take comfort in this is that when religious people like us gather atau berkumpul dan memperjuangkan sesuatu, for example, the Palestinian cause. One good thing is that people like us believe in hope. Kita selalunya ada mempunyai satu keyakinan tentang harapan. We also believe in the impossible because we believe in miracles, right? So our faith believes in miracles, that things that can never happen can still happen. And people like us are very passionate and we don't give up because we believe in hope and we believe in God. We never give up because our God never give up on us and will never give up to help the innocent people. So we are very passionate. That is why our cause, and setiap kali kita berbincang dalam forum kita, cakap pun lebih macam adrenaline flow, passionate, and really we because we believe in that, and we don't give up. So things like this, ultimately, I think this is a good sign because we are not just social activists. We are social activists undergirded based on the foundation of a religious faith that never give up. So, this is what makes things possible, and this will be the hope of the ultimate outlook. And so the goal of reaching what Prof. Amin said just now, that we want a free, independent, and sovereign Palestine. Thank you. Syarul yang muted.
Syarul, let me mute Syarul.
Okay, sorry. Terima kasih, Jason. I like about the Chinese. They always talking about economy. No shackle shop, one Malaysia shop. I think even last time I see the YB Steven Sim, they also think they tak tahu in Gaza basically there are shops. So why don't think we trade with them? So dengan Jason, of course, he got direct contact terus kepada PM. Whoever PM, he has a contact. Mahathir ke, Najib ke, Muhyiddin ke, you talk to him. So he's the guy. He's the go-to guy. So that's Jason. So that's to me very good. In fact, tadi masa KL Summit pun, I think Mahathir dan Turki ada cakap pasal menggunakan, I tak tahu pasal blockchain. Sebab dulu memang Mahathir pernah nak buat macam Dinamas apa semua, tak nak guna pakai US dollar. Tapi dengan ada crypto ni, I tak tahu dengan blockchain. That's one way lah. But no shackle shop tu, I think is very good. Pasal ekonomi, I think the rakyat also need some form of, dekat sana I heard unemployment pun sangat tinggi. That the second thing is about sign of hope. You bagi pekerjaan, signs of protest untuk melemahkan. So there are many ways. So with Chinese on board, they can always think about how to overcome the juice on their own platform on Money Talk. So I'll give back to each one of you, probably dengan pengurusi Penyatuan Pemuda untuk memberikan his final thoughts on this whole issue before we go. Over to you, Dr. Fairuz.
Thank you so much for inviting, first of all, and I am here just to learn from each other, from the experts, because obviously I'm not in the area of Palestine, and of course, thank you so much for the opportunity to be here as a listener, and apologize for some of the anak-anak kacau tadi sekejap. Biasalah kan kita dah. And I think in essence, kita kena, us, whoever lah, us and everyone else kena continue to find a creative way and an innovative way of educating people in the era of hedonism, in era of people self-centered, so that kita boleh achieve kita punya aim of goodness in our community in a more effective way. It is not enough of just being good and do good, but if you're not doing it in accordance to the current situation and scenario, if not whatever that we've been discussing, if you look, banyak kalau discussion yang ilmiah, mana-mana medium pun, dia tak attract people as much compared to entertainment, compared to doing TikTok dances yang tak ada apa-apa pun dia punya effect. Kind of way, like we have to think. You cannot deny that the fact that trying to figure out what can you do as people who wanted to be doing good for the people. You have to come out from your cocoon lah, and then do things not to mengorbankan prinsip, tetapi lebih kepada kita kreatif dalam approach lah. So hopefully we can do better and we can approach and then influence people more, insyaAllah. Thank you again for the invitation, and see you again, insyaAllah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and very good night, I suppose.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih sahabat saya, Dr. Fairuz. Okay, mungkin yalah, I think pemuda itu kreatif tu sangat betul. Macam kita kena kita kena mencari jalan lebih kreatif untuk bercakap, untuk berhubung dengan orang yang muda. Mungkin yang tua macam saya dengan Jason dah lost way. So we have to talk to them. So how I can talk to you? dan macam mana nak create rakyat yang lebih empathy, yang boleh fikir pasal orang lain, bukan setakat fikir diri dia sendiri. Okay, terima kasih Dr. Fairuz. Kita balik kepada Dr. Bala. Yes, Dr. Bala, your last word before you go.
Thank you, Shahrul. Actually, I learned a lot from Dr. Amin. And of course, Bro Jason, you are awesome. You got the vision, different level. Anyway, my few words of what I say to round up is to say that, you see, the two-state solution for Israel is a recipe for disaster. Sebab intention of the Israel is dia nak deviate from the reality, which is actually the opposite. So two-state is never a solution. The solution yang kita katakan tadi is a free Palestine, but it will never come easy. Number one, we'll have to be very united in our cause. Itu penting. Semua negara Islam wajib bersatu for a common cause. And then jaminan bahawa bila ada free Palestine ini, jaminan bahawa justice prevails, very important. We'll have to have that kind of guarantee. And of course, Islam guarantees justice very clearly in Surah Al-Maidah ayat 8 in that sense. So, and then we'll have to ensure that when we are united and our intentions are very, very sincere in bringing about justice for the people of Palestine, including the Jews, then we can be assured of ultimate victory from God. This is what I believe in. So this is what we have to go for. We'll have to believe that in this period of time, we have to be very patient and must always have that confidence and faith in God in our heart and be assured of ultimate victory. And that is a miracle I think all the religion talks about, including what Jason said. We can bring about the important. The great, the Almighty is God, not Israel, not Palestine. So this is basically I would like to say, and the political leaders must never be selective in what we call fighting for human rights. Sometimes you tengok tempat-tempat lain dia orang very zealous on that. Macam isu di Sudan, isu di in Tibet. Oh, but when it comes to Palestine, everyone is forgotten. It's no more humanitarian issue. So political leaders must be very clear in their motive. They must believe in what is known as the fear of God in them. They must believe that if they do wrong, the wrath of God will be upon them. So in that context, kalau kita pergi and we work together, we work on a consultative manner, we work towards worshipping God, I believe the ultimate victory will be ours, and the free Palestine will be a real a dream come true. Thank you so much, Shahrul. Thank you so much, everyone. And good night.
Terima kasih Dr. Bala, sahabat saya berkenal. Dr. Bala always talking about justice, kalau you betul-betul that's why Dr. Bala adalah pengurusi pegawai khas untuk Al-Ehwal non-Muslim, because he believes in Islam is about kindness for all humanity, and in fact dia hafal dua surah tu. Dia cakap dua surah Al-Maidah, sorry, satu dia hafal, dia boleh cakap kat saya tiap kali pasal justice, tapi provided orang tu tak ego dan dia ikhlas buat kerana Allah. Itu yang saya rasa terkesan untuk dengan Dr. Bala ni. Dan apa yang saya bawa, memang saya buat setiap kali saya punya talk, saya akan bawa orang lain, orang bukan Islam, untuk tunjuk. Saya nak boleh, especially kes yang macam ni, memang kes ni bukan, saya tak suka pasal orang Islam bergabung untuk lawan syarikat. Kita kena bergabung atas benda yang ketidakadilan. Itu yang paling penting. Tak kisah siapa pun, tak kisah isu apa. Jadi bila kita boleh tunjuk kita fair, kalau orang lain bukan Islam pun, kalau dia tindas, kita kena tolong. Jadi barulah benda nampak tu. I think Dr. Bala truly believe in that. But whether the people, the leaders really walk their talk, that's different thing lah. That's another issue for discussion. Okay, dengan itu saya bagi pada Dr. Amin, mungkin nak bagikan kata-kata terakhir. Amin, silakan.
Okay, thanks again Syarul. Saya ingatkan dah
You mute.
share tadi.
Amin, you mute. Saya tak dengar.
I thought tadi dah
Amin, you mute.
Tak. Okey je, dengar je. Dengar je.
Sorry.
I can hear also.
Okay, sorry. Okay, thank. Okay, I punya, sorry.
I thought tadi dah conclusion dah.
Okay, dah last bagi last word lah kalau
I'm
saja.
quite impressed dengan conclusion daripada Dr. Bala tadi. Sangat padu dan jitu. So I think I just want to add one point on our discussion. Okay. To reflect on our discussion bila kita bincang tentang masalah yang berada di Palestin, sepatutnya juga kita mengambil pengajaran dengan masalah yang berada di sekitar kita, terutamanya dalam konteks di Malaysia, dalam berhadapan dengan pandemik, dalam berhadapan dengan keadaan yang genting dengan kes-kes yang semakin banyak ni. Sebagaimana kita mengharapkan, kita berdoa dan kita menyeru kepada masyarakat dunia untuk bersatu padu, meletakkan keutamaan dan sebagainya, dan kita as Malaysians juga perlu untuk mengambil pengajaran dan juga cuba untuk move kepada satu bentuk terutamanya dalam konteks kematangan di dalam berpolitik. Okay? Contohnya bila kita berhadapan dengan pandemik ni, keutamaan kita sepatutnya adalah COVID-19. Dan kita boleh untuk put aside, ialah masalah tak puas hati, tak ngam, tak setuju dengan pendekatan begini, begitu dan sebagainya. Itu adalah normal. Tapi sepatutnya kita boleh untuk meletakkan keutamaan negara sekarang ni adalah untuk kita bersatu dan berpadu, minimize ketidaktentuan, ketidakstabilan, kecenderungan untuk menimbulkan keadaan yang kurang stabil kepada suatu keadaan di mana kita let's put aside dulu apa-apa kecenderungan masalah-masalah peribadi dan seumpamanya. Kita letakkan keutamaan sebagaimana kita mengharapkan warga Palestin bersatu, umat Arab berubah. Then we have to start from us. Yang mudah-mudahan kita akan kita akan berusaha untuk betul-betul materialize macam mana untuk kita unite ourselves, macam mana kita nak unite kita. Yalah, di Malaysia kita ada pelbagai agama, pelbagai bangsa. Macam mana kita nak berhadapan dengan masalah yang satu ni? Yalah, masalah banyak lagi. Cuma kita perlu untuk berikan keutamaan. Kita boleh untuk bersatu dan bersama-sama membina Malaysia yang lebih baik. Dan mudah-mudahan kalau Malaysia itu lebih baik, then we can talk about Malaysia to lead the world untuk menyelesaikan masalah Palestin dan juga apa yang berlaku dengan kekejaman yang dilakukan oleh Israel di sana. Sebab kadang-kadang kita minta mereka bersatu, tapi kita tidak bersungguh-sungguh ke arah penyatuan ummah, ke arah penyatuan masyarakat, penyatuan dalam konteks warga negara Malaysia yang pastinya bila kita buat dengan bersungguh-sungguh, insya-Allah ada jalan yang lebih baik, insya-Allah. Okey, saya itu saja untuk malam ni. Terima kasih sekali lagi dan mudah-mudahan ada kebaikan kepada diri saya dan juga kepada rakan-rakan, juga kepada audiens di luar sana, dan mudah-mudahan ini bukannya pengakhiran tetapi adalah permulaan untuk kita melipat gandakan lagi usaha kita ke arah pembebasan Palestin, pembebasan ummah seluruhnya, insya-Allah. Wallahu a'lam bissawab. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih sekali lagi dan maaf di atas segalanya. Salam sejahtera.
Terima kasih. Terima kasih.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih Ustaz. Banyak lagi poin yang dia bagi sebab tu saya kelas. Satu menarik tadi Ustaz bagi pasal PKP yang dan juga pandemik yang banyak orang susah untuk kita tengok. Kita kena tolong sama kita. Kita berkongsi hidup ni. Itu satu benda yang saya sangat penting. Satu lagi yang saya super nak highlight pasal PKP. Kita kat sini PKP macam dah susah tak boleh keluar dekat KL ni. Tapi PKP di Palestin almost hari-hari PKP. Dekat sana kalau dia kata PKP yang Afaf tu kata kalau PKP dia kalau macam curfew buka tingkap pun tak boleh. Dia takut. Dia mungkin boleh tembak. Dia terlampau stres. Itu dia punya PKP. Buka tingkap tak boleh. Dia ramai-ramai dulu kat situ. Jadi kalau kita stres kat sini dekat sana checkpoint memang hari-hari nak keluar checkpoint. Memang lagi susah. Jadi kadang-kadang kita kena insaf, kita senang macam Dr. Fairuz ajar anak dia. Kita kena lebih bersyukur dengan apa kita ada, kita cuba tolong. Yang lepas tu, okey, yang satu lagi agak menarik juga, banyak saya dapat daripada terutamanya orang Islam yang bukan daripada Malaysia yang duduk kat sini. Dia banyak cakap apa tu, Malaysia ni, orang Islam kat Malaysia of course banyak lagi kekurangan macam Ustaz kata. Dia mengharapkan orang Islam dekat Malaysia ni tetap nombor satu nak compare dengan orang Islam dekat luar. Jadi dia mengharapkan kita bukan setakat jadi tiger, Asian tiger, nak jadi kita sebagai tiger of the world. We lead the way. Menunjukkan despite our differences, we can still live in harmony. We can fight for justice for all humanity. Itu yang nak. And Ustaz kata, there are still, dan I believe Fairuz dan semua orang, sebagai seorang Melayu, seorang Islam, there are many things, there are lot of room for improvement yang kita boleh buat di Malaysia. Terutama diri saya sendiri. Bukan orang lain. Orang Melayu, orang Islam, kita kena lebih improve ke arah keadilan sejagat. Lepas tu saya bagi juga pada Jason sebelum kita tutup majlis kita. Silakan Jason. Ini sahabat saya juga.
Tadi aku rasa dah buat kesimpulan dah.
Okay. So okay, just bagi malas. Okay.
Actually untuk niatan saya lihat keadaan di Palestin memang akan menjadi lebih buruk lagi. First of the factor is Palestine today, the electorate and the people are more leaning towards more confrontational approach. The grassroots are rising up, the people are rising up. So I think the politicians also have to take note, whether it's Hamas or Fatah or whatever. So they have to go more or less support the people's agenda and feeling. At the same time, di Israel juga, they are more right-wing now. And the people who are in power were also likely to be more confrontational as well and be more aggressive and more assertive, especially going against Hamas. So things are, in the near term, not looking good. I would say that it will get worse before it can get better. So, nevertheless, like I say, we are all believers in hope, and we know doesn't matter. Things must get worse before it get better. Just like Malaysia, macam keadaan COVID kita tu, di sini, it has to get worse before it gets better. So, but it will get better. At the end of all the darkness, right? There will be the dark tunnel, there will be a light. So, like what one great poet, one of my favorite poets says this, Percy Bysshe Shelley, he wrote, he says, if winter comes, can spring be far behind? Kalau datangnya musim dingin atau musim sejuk, winter, adakah selepas itu, spring, musim spring is what? Bunga. Ya, musim bunga. Jadi because it's spring, summer, autumn, winter kan? Spring, summer, autumn, winter. So selepas winter must come spring. So today maybe Palestine is in the winter of its discontent, So after that we will have spring of hope. Thank you.
Awesome, bro. You're awesome, man.
Yes. Jason always awesome dengan kata-kata hikmah dia. Satu je yang saya nak kongsikan, because Jason mengingatkan saya pasal cerita Lord of the Rings. Macam there is no hope masa apa tu siapa yang Gandalf kata they have to fight, macam Islam kata because we have to fight, not because we want to win. Macam mana cakap tadi, kenapa dia dah pergi dekat UN, berapa banyak veto dah US bagi. Kita nak lawan Israel, yang Israel nombor 4 terkuat tentera and backed by number 1 tentera. Tapi we do this thing because kita sebenarnya tu satu benda yang benar, yang betul. Kita buat benda tu. Biarlah macam result tu Allah Ta'ala yang tentukan. Because we do this thing because this is the right thing to do. And sebagai Islam, saya dengar macam Ustaz Norman Alihan cakap semalam, satu benda Allah dia tak akan measurekan kita punya output. Nabi Nuh pun 950 tahun, sikit je output dia punya result. Dia akan measurekan, dia kata apa usaha kita ke arah tu. So that's to me is very important. We do what we think is right thing to do. And with that, I thank you, all of you, all my friends, and especially those who are watching on FB Live. Thank you very much. I love you all. Kita sudahi untuk Muslim dengan tasbih kifar dan suratul As. Bye-bye. Assalamualaikum. Bye-bye. Salam sejahtera. Good night. Bye-bye.
Bye. Good night.
Bye-bye. Assalamualaikum.
Yes,
Terima kasih Ustaz. Right. Hi everyone, terima kasih kerana menonton sampai habis video tadi. Jika awak suka dengan video tadi, boleh tekan tombol like. Kalau awak rasa dia bermanfaat, mungkin boleh sharekan kepada yang lain. Dan kalau awak rasa berminat, mungkin boleh tolong subscribekan sekali, sebab saya insyaAllah akan membuat video seperti ini setiap 2 minggu sekali. Saya ada di Boon Talk Show di FB, YouTube dan juga Instagram. Cuma Instagram ni kurang sikit. Tapi kalau tuan-tuan atau perempuan tak suka, boleh tekan tombol dislike. Dan kalau boleh nyatakan juga kenapa tak suka, mungkin dekat situ saya boleh improve. Kalau yang suka tadi pun boleh nyatakan apa yang bagus dan saya akan cuba kekalkan atau tingkatkan lagi. Okey, tujuan saya buat benda ni adalah untuk contribute, untuk menyumbang, untuk menjadikan dunia kita lebih baik daripada apa yang ada sekarang. Jadi topik-topik yang saya akan bawakan berunsurkan ilmu yang bermanfaat ataupun sumber-sumber inspirasi ya. Jadi kalau ada apa-apa cadangan topik ataupun speaker, boleh terus message saya sama ada di Facebook ataupun di YouTube. Saya jarang tengok. Kalau ada nombor telefon, tolong message saya terus. Itu saja. Terima kasih daripada saya. I love you 7 billion times. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching. Bye.